COVID-19 infections around the world surpassed...
Yeah, we all know the world is in deep shit. You know what's the best solution? Wolves.
Ugh, the government sucks. Taxes are so high. There's so much pollution. It's all because there's too damn many factories. Oh my gosh, I let myself go. I really gotta lose some weight.
Okay, but seriously, you know what we should talk about? The true story behind Stranger Things. The government's fictional shenanigans in a fictional TV show were actually heavily based on a very real place and government's real shenanigans. Alright, it's a conspiracy theory, but an impressively complex and fascinating one nonetheless. The Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory that alleges the United States government conducted a series of projects at Camp Hero, or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York, for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time travel. What the fuck is exotic research? Camp Hero itself is frequently called the East Coast Area 51. Although now decommissioned, it used to be a vast warren of laboratories. The facility was said to be devoted to experiments focused on teleportation, time travel, and mind control, with Camp Hero's radar frequency believed to have been perfect for such trials. I wonder if people in the 80s at one point wanted to storm the area too, like, instead of Naruto Run, just like Disco Run storm it, you know what I mean? How would they organize it without Facebook though? Probably some ancient media, like MySpace. The scope of what was happening in Montauk was extensive enough to soon pull in many other conspiracies. One such conspiracy connected the 1983 Montauk incident with a famous covert military operation called the Philadelphia Experiment. That experiment was an alleged US Navy operation at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, around October 28, 1943. The US Navy destroyer escort, USS Eldridge, is said to have been rendered invisible or cloaked to enemy radars. The US Navy maintains that no such experiment was ever conducted. Okay, I'll talk about it in depth in another video because there was a lot of crazy shit happening with this ship. And when I say crazy, I mean teleportation ship leaping through time and crew appearing inside out crazy. The project was shut down, but Hollywood got a grip of the story, which it turned into a 1984 movie, The Philadelphia Experiment. And this is where our first key witness comes in. A then 57 years old Al Bielek, having watched the movie, couldn't shake the feeling that he's seen and lived through a story like that before. After undergoing various New Age therapies, Al managed to recover some of his repressed memories, which included him working closely on the Philadelphia Experiment, as well as its successor, the Montauk Project, in the 70s and 80s. He also learned that, as a matter of fact, his real name wasn't Al Bielek, but Ed Cameron, and that he had a brother, Duncan, who was also part of the Philadelphia operation, when they were both in their mid-20s. He goes on to elaborate on his alter ego's story, going into such details as the names of his relatives, his birthplace being Bayshore, Long Island, him and his brother being raised by an aunt in a 26-room mansion in Long Island. Okay, holy shit, Mr. Fabulous Life in a huge mansion. According to his recollection, both Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein were involved in the experiment, tasked with developing the mathematical theories behind the project. So basically, the science world's stardom is working on this project. Huge deal. Sometime in the 1940s, Tesla figured out and overlooked making the USS Eldridge invisible, and as a result of the failed attempt to do so, it opened up a time wormhole into the future that sucked in the ship. So here's what happens. The ship leaps in time, with Cameron brothers on board. They end up jumping off the vessel to August 12, 1983, to, surprise surprise, Camp Hero in Montauk. And the government officials are like, yeah, you guys probs shouldn't be here, so we're gonna send you back, but we have to send you back with a mission. Yeah, we kinda messed up, so you just gotta get rid of the equipment on Eldridge, cause it fucked things up for everyone. And Ed and Duncan were like, bro, what? So we good? Yeah, okay, bye. But the government does everything again anyways, so yeah, they fucked up big time. Ed Cameron also claimed in unsurprisingly vague terms that this experience with time travel de-aged him, caused a memory wipe, and thus he was forced to continue his life as Al Bielek. He added that while living as Ed, back in the 1960s, he convinced his father to have another child, which would serve as a vessel for Duncan's consciousness from 1983. He would refer to the new sibling from 1963 as a walk-in soul of Duncan. Yeah, that makes me as confused as you probably are. So Ed goes to his dad and is like, "Father, I need to speak with you."
Okay, what's up, son?
"Father, I need you to conceive another sibling of mine, so that it can be a vessel for my dear brother Duncan, his soul and subconscious specifically. Together, we will achieve great things. Evil things, but great."
Shouldn't we ask your mom?
Yeah, let's talking more baby making. But shock, the new Duncan has superpowers and ends up being 11 of the confidential Montauk Project. And yes, I am, yet again, as confused as you are. This is where Prestonby Nichols comes in. An individual who woke up one day in the 90s and had a moment of realization.
"I just realized I was brainwashed and I've been repressing memories about my involvement in this mysterious military experiment with crazy plot twists and cliffhangers. I should write a book about it, and add time travel and psychic powers to the story, because that's totally what happened."
Nichols detailed his outlandish experience in a series of books titled The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, causing other supposed subjects with recovered memories to come forth and share their experience, claiming that the operation included experiments with time, space, and other dimensions. Nichols himself claimed to have been mainly involved in the experiment known as the Montauk Chair, that allegedly could amplify one's psychic abilities. Quote, "The first experiment was called the Seeing Eye. With a lock of person's hair or other appropriate object in his hand, Duncan Cameron, supposed psychic, could concentrate on the person and be able to see as if he was seeing through their eyes, hearing through their ears, and feeling through their body. He could actually see through other people anywhere on the planet." End quote. Netflix, you hack! Nichols was in charge of harnessing the young Duncan's psychic powers, trying to escalate them further to mind control with the use of the base's enormous transmitter. This is where the other children come in, known as the Montauk Boys. The abducted kids were brought in to be experimented on. Among several theories, they were sent through a portal into the unknown dimension and space. Scientists would break them physically and psychologically and practice implanting subconscious commands into their minds. As it turns out, decades later, Long Island men would come forth with recovered memories from their abduction, confirming the rumors circling around the base. In all this craziness, I can believe there might have been some experiments on brainwashing people. That's a very possible and very real concept of breaking someone's body and mind to bend them to your will. Also, mind control is literally a trope in every hero-villain movie ever made. In 1983, Nichols gets orders from his superiors to turn on the Montauk Chair and keep it running. That's how a time wormhole connected 1983 to 1943. When time travel reactors at both ends produce enough power to connect the timelines. That's also where Ed and Duncan Cameron from 1940s came through the portal. At that point, the project became too much for Nichols, and thus he decided to shut it down with young Duncan's help. Quote, "We finally decided we'd had enough of the whole experiment. The contingency program was activated by someone approaching Duncan while he was in the chair and simply whispering, 'The time is now.' At this moment, he let loose a monster from his subconscious, and the transmitter actually portrayed a hairy monster. It was big, hairy, hungry, and nasty. But it didn't appear underground in the null point. It showed up somewhere on the base. It would eat anything it could find. And it smashed everything in sight. Several different people saw it, but almost everyone described a different beast." End quote. I feel like the only thing that we're missing in this story are aliens. Ed was taken off the project, sent to Pentagon, put through a portal that sent him to Alpha Centauri 1, where he was interrogated by the aliens for several days before being returned to Pentagon. What's next? Lizard people? Some testimonies from Montauk survivors mentioned giant lizard people or extra-dimensional beings that appeared in a humanoid shape made of hollow glass. Oh, now you're just fucking with me. So, Camp Hero and the Montauk Project were shut down in 1984, with the base's lower levels filled with cement and the staff being brainwashed to forget the whole operation. Rough. Here we are. The pandemic saga continues and is in full bloom. I wanted to thank Masta and DownyGlobe YT, as well as my roomie for voicing some of the characters in the video. I also did a collab with Masta on his channel, so you can watch that video. I'll leave the link in the description. Hey, if you can't wait to see what I'm working on for the June video, I post a lot of sneak peeks on my Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can get access to rough sketches, scene sneak peeks, my personal artwork and comics in progress, as well as voiceover bloopers and more. Okay, that's it. Stay safe and healthy out there. Until the next time.